So in this video, I am going to describe the process of evolution, how evolution occurs, what natural selection is, and the adaptations certain animals have. So essentially, evolution, as you all know, is the change, I guess, in an organism, in a population, sorry, over time. And it's best defined as the change, so evolution, whoops, is the change in genetic composition of a population over time. And so a key point to note here is evolution acts on a population. And a population is defined as a group of organisms of one species that live in the same place and can interbreed with each other, which means that they can reproduce with each other and produce young that will also be fertile. So a population is a group of species one species that can interbreed and are in the same area. And so now we want to answer the question of how does evolution occur? So let's erase this. And so essentially, first off, there are variations between all organisms. So when you've heard, oh, everyone's unique, that is very true because everyone has their own specific sequence of their DNA, and their DNA codes for different proteins, so everyone has different characteristics. So some of these characteristics make a person more suitable to survive in their environment. So as a result, they will be able to reproduce more and to pass on that specific trait. And so that makes the trait in a population more common. And so that changes the population. And so two evolutions as a result of that, kind of based off of that, it selects the fittest organisms. And then finally, there's competition between species. So you're competing for a limited amount of resources, such as, for example, in the case of giraffes. At a certain point in history, giraffes, there became less and less food on the ground, and the trees were taller. So the giraffes that had the longest necks were able to reach the food and survive and reproduce and pass on their genes for longer necks. And so as a result, giraffes now, you see, have really long necks because of that type of evolution that occurred. And so now let me give you an example of how animals adapted, how a certain animal adapted over time to become, essentially flourish in his environment the best. So as you can see, this is a polar bear. And we all know polar bears live in the snow and very cold environments. So, how they adapted to survive in this environment is they have, obviously, one thick layer of fat under their skin, which provides warmth, and it also helps them float when they swim. And then their fur is white, which helps them camouflage and hunt their prey. And then, as you can see, they have small ears, which prevents heat loss. Like, as you've experienced in winter, your ears, human ears, are pretty big, and so when you get cold in the winter, your ears get very cold first, and your ears actually give off a lot of heat because it's so big. And then to list one more, polar bears have an excellent vision. So, 4 is vision. They have 2 eyelids. And so one eyelid is the regular one that all humans have that we are accustomed to. But the second one that polar bears have, it reduces glare and improves underwater vision. So if you ever went skiing and you took off your goggles, you realize that the sun glares right off of the white snow into your eyes. And so this adaptation helps the polar bears see their prey and help them find food. And finally, they are very strong swimmers. So 5 is strong swimmers. In order to catch their prey, such as seals and other animals.